Football without fans is nothing. It can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Galvin's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half time and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
Alright guys, what's happening? It is Tuesday, 29th of March, and it's another Jungle Gyms Tuesday TikTok. Me and Paddy. Paddy, what's happening?
No much, mate. Just fucking sitting here racking my nerves and racking my emotions, getting the build up to this game ready. Sunday.
You get any fingernails left?
No, mate, I've not. I went down to collect the Wayne off my mom. She's like, I can stop biting your nails. I'm like, okay.
You big fucking Wayne. Aye, closer to the weekend, man. And that's got seven games left now in the league. I was looking at it there. By the way, to the viewers, thanks very much for tuning in. And give us a like, give us a subscribe, and of course, give us a comment. That's what tonight's all about. Can't be just me and Paddy talking absolute rubbish. We do need other people to participate in that rubbish as well. Oh, yeah. I was looking at the league. Well, obviously, we know where we are. We're 3 points ahead, and we've got that goal difference. The goal difference ahead of Rangers is what? Is it 14 points? 14 goals.
I think the last time I checked it was 15. I'll double check that for you now, mate.
Anyway, the cushion that we've got, if you could look that up, that'd be brilliant. Thanks, mate. I should have done my homework.
They've got 37, we've got 51. So I'll let you work that one out in the lead.
Okay. I think that's 14. Right, okay, so basically like a wee point of a cushion though. It's not impossible for them to claw that back between now and the end of the season, but that's like for us like worthy of another point. Mm-hmm. So I played 31, we won 24, drawn 4, lost 3. It's not so bad because consider where we were at the start of the season. We've proved a lot of it wrong. So how are you feeling for this weekend? You said you were nervous, but is there an element of confidence that you just don't want to kind of show?
I don't know, mate. This is really one of the ones that's like, it's kind of fucking nerve-wracking, you know what I mean? We've not had that for a long, long time. But obviously, like every kind of game that you play against these scumbags it kind of G's you up and gets you a bit nervous. But this one especially, because this one is on such a tender hook, you know, it can go one way or the other. Like if we win, we're 6 points ahead. If they win, they're back level on points, although we'll still be top because of the goal difference. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's certainly the league's certainly not finished or anything like that, and we're not going to win. We're not going to walk into Sunday and automatically beat them. You know what I mean? It's going to be a hard fight. But in saying that, I'm loving our confidence, Gav. I'm loving the kind of camaraderie in the team, if you want. The whole atmosphere. Everybody seems totally entwined with each other. They're all friendly for each other. Everybody's back, you know, and they're playing with a smile on their face. Whereas that crowd, obviously the last time we beat them 3-0, there's a bit of dissent in the ranks of the entire kind of gang of them. And you've had players like Goldson and whatnot coming out and saying that there's a wee bit of a kind of lack of hunger on their players, stuff like that, and you can see stuff like that translating onto the park. They're just ticking over with victories, whereas we're in a good flow as a team. In my opinion, I think we're in a very good place, mate. A very good place, and as long as we can commit to that game on Sunday with confidence and not arrogance, I will be very, very happy.
Very true, mate. Very true. It was actually quite remiss of me. I forgot to point out that McGinty, of course, is not with us tonight. McGinty is actually flown down from the Shetland Islands into Glasgow to personally interfere with the contract talks between Karamoke and Dembele and the Celtic board. He's getting quite nervous about that. So we hope for a good outcome with that one. Who have we got in the building? Kyle Kirkwood, Cal Mack and Taylor not starting for Scotland, I think. But they're playing tonight, aren't they?
Yes, mate, they're playing a friendly with Austria. Not that I care or anything, but aye, they're playing quarter to 8. So that's actually good. Thanks for letting us know that, Kyle. Cal Mack, Taylor not start. So that's 2 guys that you would assume are going to be in the starting squad on Sunday, Gav. So thanks to Stevie Clutter for
that. I don't suppose Ryan Jack is playing tonight.
No idea, pal. No idea.
We'll find out.
Couple of earlier comments, mate. Cookie with Chef Di. How you doing, buddy? Evening, fellas. Alex Anderson, a new name. Mankeys 0, Celtic 3, 10-1. That's a decent price, by the way. Stephen Coulthard 3-1 to Tick on Sunday. Bend over, great name. Celtic won on Sunday. The league's won. Still wouldn't be that premature. Gav, I know a lot of people are saying like, if we win on Sunday, the league's done. It's no done. Stranger things have happened. I will not be counting my chickens until the fat lady's son.
Yeah. And I want to hear them.
Gav, Kyle Kirkwood, Jack Starn.
Good.
Alex Anderson, the last time we played them at Ibrox, they said Morelos was out and he played, so don't listen to Morelos out nonsense. Aye, so there's a wee bit of kind of media quotes here and there saying that Morelos is a doubt and your man Ramsey is going to be a doubt for Sunday, but listen, we'll wait and see. Last one there, Cookie Chef Di. Rio Hatate played 45 minutes today against Vietnam. He was tactically subbed off, so it should be fit for Sunday. I saw that, Gav. That was Rio Hatate. He made his debut. Yes, mate, his debut. Made his debut for Japan. Played 45 minutes. Come off absolutely unscathed, so more good news.
Aye, good for him and good for if you're going to make the trip to the other end of the world, then at least actually make an appearance. You know what I mean? And that's his debut. Great international exposure for him, even though it was a bit of a dead rubber from what I'd heard. Aye, good for him. 24-year-old and getting his first cap for Japan, and I hope he gets more. Paddy, was going to ask you. So obviously we're going into the Rangers game. This will be the third Celtic and Rangers game of the season. We've got another one in the Cup and then, of course, another one at Parkhead near the end of the season. But if we go back to the start of the season, Celtic lost to Rangers. It was a narrow 1-0 defeat. Helander scored. That was at Ibrox. And we actually performed quite well. It was just, it was just that another set piece was the undoing of us. And then you fast forward to December it was, where we beat Rangers 3-0 at Parkhead, and that was a completely different performance. I think from the performances in general in the domestic league, the players had kind of garnered that confidence, and they knew that they could do a number on Rangers, and they very much did that. They rolled them over within the first half, and in the second half, Celtic could kind of go back into second gear at that point, and Rangers still never really managed to lay a glove on them. So with this kind of, would you call it a natural progression from the 1-0 defeat to the 3-0 at Parkhead? So what are you expecting going at the actual game on Ibrox on Sunday? Are you expecting one of the ones, because Ange only kind of plays one way. He's not going to play for the draw, and that's that cliche. How do you play for a draw anyway? So my question is, do you think we're going to go in with a kind of quiet confidence? Do you think there's going to be a bit of, not so much arrogance, but yeah, the quiet confidence? Do you think the players are going to show their superiority in the game, or do you think they're going to have nerves as well as our fans?
I think it's obviously quite natural to feel the occasion. I don't think that the players have been nervous, but I think they'll know fine well, Gav, that it's a massive game. It's really a must win for either team. If you reverse back to the first game, which was at Ibrox, I actually thought we outplayed them. We played them after the park, Gav, and if it wasn't for our kind of indecisiveness in front of goal, Kyogo playing at a position and just a few subtle things, then I think we would have won it that day, Gav. They absolutely had a smash and grab with that header for Helander. But for what I've seen for Postecoglou this season, you know, he's a guy who likes to take things in and he likes to put it into practice. So I think even though he's like in his mid to late 50s, the guy still learns all the time. And I think he's definitely 100% going to have learned for the first game at Ibrox. Now, he's coming up against a wee tiny wee man, wee Giovanni van Bronckhorst. That's a lesser quality of management that was there when we played them at Ibrox. You know what I mean? He knows the way they're going to play. He knows the way they're going to set up, and he knows the way to beat them. He's done it. He's ended a hoodoo. He's got a monkey off a back. Absolutely scudded them 3-0 at Celtic Park. And as I say, he will have learned from every single mistake that he made the first time at Ibrox, and he'll make it count. Do you know what? I'm starting to get more confident, mate. It's really honestly, it's no a kind of bravado thing. It's just me thinking about Ange and thinking how we went to. Aye, Everton's good, mate. Everton's good.
Want to kind of get the viewers' thoughts on that as well. And do you think Ange will go with like the normal lineup? Obviously 4-3-3. He's not going to change the formation, but do you think he'll throw a spanner in the works? Do you think there'll be any last minute surprises from Ange in terms of the personnel that play? And do you think he might do anything to counteract the pace of Rangers' counter attack, the likes of Kent?
Well, there's only really two spanners that he can throw in a gaff. It's like if he plays Ralston at right back and Gerrard at left, then that's a kind of a surprise, but not a massive surprise. And the only other one bar that is changing one of the kind of the wider players, probably like maybe playing like a Forrester and a Bada instead of Maeda. I think it's a stick on that Giakoumakis is going to start. I think the game's far too early for any talk about Kyogo, so I'm not even going to mention Kyogo.
No.
Rogic is it, so you know your options there. In midfield, really, you've only got a couple of things that you can do, and that's maybe play Beaton. If you're talking about a change for the kind of usual setup, it's playing Beaton, push McGregor a wee bit forward and have Hatate kind of doing all the running about. Is
Rogic definitely out? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So in that case, your McGregor's definitely going to play. You would imagine Hatate will definitely play. So do you play alongside them O'Reilly or do you play Beaton?
Well, see, this is a question because you're going. I'm trying to think of their possible lineup because they're going to be playing with a 4-3-3 as well. So it depends if they want to play a midfielder who's going to be one that kind of goes forward a bit more. So if you do that, then clearly you need a guy to sit deeper and try and match him for that. So you're talking maybe like an Aribo or an Arfield or something like that, or fucking Ramsey, whatever. And then you think back to our guys and on. It's like O'Reilly's never played at Ibrox, so that's going to be a new one for him. And you think Beaton's been here for 10 years, played at Ibrox, he's let us down sometimes he's no. You play Beaton, that allows Calmac to go forward. You know what I mean? And you can get the best out of Callum McGregor. If we're going to want to create chances and try and get a goal or as many goals as we can, then I think for me personally, Callum McGregor getting further forward is going to be imperative to get us that.
And O'Reilly, he does offer the set piece contribution to the team, which I think we kind of lack. I would go with O'Reilly, Hatate, and McGregor. Although, if we started with Beaton, if Ange started with Beaton, I would have no fears. I would have no qualms with that because Ange knows a hell of a lot more than what I do, and he's the guy. And so, cooking with Chef Dal, we've got Hart, Juranovic, Cameron Carter, Vickers, Starfelt, and Taylor. At the back, we've got Calmac, O'Reilly, and Hatate in the midfield. And then up front, Maeda, Jota, and Giakoumakis. Totally agree. That's what I think will be the case. Hatate, O'Reilly, and McGregor. But as you said, Beaton will offer you a bit of physicality, playing as the number 6 if he does start. However,
I just think Gav could just be. This isn't me knocking O'Reilly at all. I think he's a really, really good player, classy. classy boy. I'm just thinking of the occasion. So we're only going to have 700 supporters there. It's going to be bedlam. It's going to be an arena of fucking troglodytes. You know what I mean? So, what is he, 21? O'Reilly?
Something like that. Like.
21, do you know what I mean? So that occasion could potentially get him. You know what I mean? He's not played at Ibrox before, whereas we've got guys who have played against. I'm saying that now. He's not played at Ibrox either, so I'm kind of contradicting.
You remember how both of them performed away at Hearts? Both of them did very, very well.
Oh,
and
aye. That was a definite baptism of fire, wasn't it?
Indeed. I don't have any qualms with that. I would actually be more worried about the mentality of Beaton. I don't know if he gives in to the occasion, but saying that, you know, when he was playing, especially last season, everybody was rank rotten. So I don't want to be too harsh on Beaton. Beaton has been very steady this season. He's been a reassurance at the number 6. So if we do start with him, then, as I said, they won't have any worries. And Kenny said he would start with O'Reilly. Hope you're doing well, Kenny. And Jamie Young, all right, guys. How you doing, mate? How you doing?
What about yourself, guys, like Jamie and that? Kenny, what would your lineups be? He's your 1 to 11. Post them in.
I thought Jota, pardon me for interrupting. Jota at the Parkhead game, the 3-0 game, I thought Jota, although he got a lot of the ball, he wasn't his usual self in terms of the end product. They did kind of double mark him a lot. So I hope that Jota is more effective this time round at Ibrox.
Certainly, because he's a guy that can unlock defences. He can take on your Taverniers and that. I'm just thinking, like, they only really play one way into it, and it's all down the sides. They just want to get forward, down the sides, and get the ball in. So when they do that, there's space there for us to exploit that. You know, our wide guys are dangerous and fast. Our fullbacks can come in as well and offer that kind of extra expansion in the midfield and allow the forward guys to go on. So what we need to do, mate, obviously, is we need to defend well, defend wise, pick our moments to go and attack. I don't think we can just have an onslaught, a wave after wave of attack, because they can hit us on the counter and they'll be able to do that well. So it's trying to pick the team, as I say, that counteracts that. So on the left-hand side, you're going to have probably, I don't know who the fuck they plays for them. It'll be Tavernier bombing forward for the right at every opportunity. Whoever else is on the right-hand side, kind of out wider. Do you know, I can even tell you who. The other side.
They play the guy's name.
Some absolute tadger.
You should know your enemy, Christ.
I know.
Calvin Bassey, the left back, so he's been playing ahead of Barisic since Barisic got completely embarrassed at Parkhead. I think we've already destroyed his Rangers career now. Barisic at one point was the best fullback in Scotland, but Bassey's been playing ahead of him now, and he is quite a big physical presence. So he'll be up against Jota, I would imagine. I think Jota will be playing on our right wing, Maida on the left wing. So Jota will be up against Bassey, and you would hope that Jota's technical ability, will keep Bassey shiting himself and hopefully not pushing up as much. I'm hoping
so is that what you're thinking? And you're going to be Jota, Giakoumakis, and Maida?
Yeah, Maida for our left wing, Jota on the right wing.
Well, the good thing is, clearly, like, for all the wide players that we've got, they're interchangeable. You know what I mean? We can switch them at any moment. And we have been doing that. So, like, so Maida, if he's not getting any joy at the Tavernier, switch him with Jota. Jota can take a shot at him, and Maida can try and go at Big Shirley. The good thing about that is I don't think he's a proper left back, is he? He's kind of one of these shite centre half guys that's left footed. So they say to him, right, play it wide.
I'll tell you what. So in the Parkhead game, we had Abada on our right, And Abada, as I said, Abada was tearing Barisic to pieces. But whenever they made the change at half-time, Bassey was completely overpowering Abada. Abada didn't have much of an answer for Bassey. Bassey was just running through him at times.
Oh, he's a big monster. He's a big laddie.
So, Chilpil here. I'm not concerned about who we start with, to be honest. We have enough to beat them. It's important to have good quality subs, and we've got them. Absolutely. Apart from the actual lineup that we've been talking about, the top 11, we've got good numbers. We've got quality and depth to an extent, anyway. So that I can only be a positive, mate.
And there's Chilpil and Kenny basically agreeing in the comments here. Chilpil, fullbacks need to defend first and foremost, and Kenny's kind of opposite. Well, the kind of reversal. We need to stop their fullbacks getting forward. Two absolutely perfect points, very valid, because as we know, mate, the majority of their goals comes from what do you call Tavernier. I think he's got the most assists in the league. Assists in the league. He's probably got the most penalties. I know the fucking stuff.
Pardon me.
So clearly, him getting forward is a danger. That's obvious. That's going to be on the left hand side. So you're looking at Taylor, mate. Taylor's going to need to be. He's going to need to be playing out his skin. The whole team is, I think, obviously, but Taylor will need to be on his fucking A game. And I think there's going to need to be a good concentration levels there between Taylor and Starfield. Taylor's going to need to back up Starfield, which I think he's been doing a hell of a lot. I think sometimes Taylor leaves Starfield exposed, and that's how Starfield tends to make the odd mistake or two, and then the focus goes on to Starfield. It doesn't kind of get focused on the stuff that happens with White, and vice versa. I just think that's where a kind of a defensive midfielder would come into, would be a good option. As I say, it allows Calmac to move on, but if Taylor's shifted into the midfield or Juranovic, because you know they're inverted fullbacks, if it's Beaton has obviously played as a centre back, he can slot back and it turns out to three at the back, you know.
Another good thing to give protection to Taylor is that I believe that Maida will be our left winger, and his work rate is as good as two people rather than just one. So you know that he's not going to be leaving Taylor hanging. He'll be tracking back as well. He's a dead set for tracking back to help out if he needs to put in a defensive shift. He'll do that. Another good thing.
McGregor will fulfill that, I know, mate, because you would imagine he's going to be on the kind of left-hand side of that midfield three. So whenever they're coming down the right, he shifts out, I know, and that's a left-footed guy in the left-footed area. You know? Yeah.
And what gives me confidence as well on the other flank is that Kent, he's obviously the danger man, the potential danger man. And he was up against Juranovic because Kent predominantly plays on the left flank. So he'll be up against Juranovic. And if you remember, Juranovic had him in his back pocket for the full 90 minutes. So more of the same for that.
Right. Where Kent excels is by using his pace and driving at people and kind of jinking in and out. But as you say, Juranovic had him to a T. Kent's kind of destroyed Lustig and George O'Kenny in the past because they weren't able to cope with him driving at him. Lustig for his speed and George O'Kenny for whatever reason, he was just a terrible signing, even though he's playing really well with Everton. But Juranovic has got that kind of low centre of gravity. He's got that speed and he's comfortable playing inside and all. So he sees Kent make his move and right away he's on top of him and he's chasing him and he's tracking him every time. He's harrying him. You know what I mean? He is more of a match for Kent, which is brilliant. But what you're going to need to see is when Kent comes for the left hand side and then tries to move forward into the right hand side, inside is somebody moving in and backing up Juranovic instead of Juranovic moving all the way out of space and then their fullback in the left coming through.
Aye, as soon as Kent turns it inside, I want Cameron Carter-Vickers to step up and for him to just bounce Kent back up to the halfway line or whatever like that. And I hope we put in a good few strong challenges early on to make Kent aware that we are here and that we mean business. Jill Pill, I'd be comfortable with Beaton in the holding midfield role. It's important we keep the ball and Beaton, and that's Beaton's big strength. Yeah, and as we say, he's been very reliable as well this season. He hasn't really disappointed.
Also, I know Gav, he's a big, tall laddie. I know he's not really physically dominant in there, but that's another one of their strengths when they're coming at us. It's going to be set pieces, corners. At least he can go man for man with like a Bassey or a Hollander or a Balogun or Golson, whoever it is that's playing.
Aye, okay, well, I guess that's us talking about the defensive aspect to our play, how to hopefully snuff out Rangers' threat. We've got Kenny against Ross County. Both Jota and Maida were changing sides. Both looked good regardless of which side they were on. Aye. Sometimes it's easy to forget, but almost every game now you notice Jota's on the left, Maida's on the right. Where originally they started out on the opposite side, so they are totally interchanging. They've been encouraged to do that, and I think they do it without being asked now. They just do it intuitively.
See before we go on, Gav, I've got a wee teaser here for Frank Brennan. I'm just going to put it up because it's a wee kind of showpiece. Frank Brennan. 1 Simpson, 2 McGrain, 3 Gemmell, 4 Bobby Evans, 5 Jock Stein, 6 Betty Peacock, 7 Dalglish, 8 Wally Wallace, 9 Dixie Deans, 10 Betty Auld, and 11 Wally Fernie. What do all of these great Celts have in common, my fellow Tims? I'm hoping it's
Are they all Protestants?
Oh. That might be a shame, by the way.
Certainly McGrain, Dalglish, Stein.
Auld.
I didn't know about all, but again.
Aye, Auld was a Protestant.
I remember my dad took me to Celtic trials when I was a wee boy, and it was at the Barlia Sports Arena that was in Castlemilk, and it was Willie Fernie, one of the coaches who was doing it. Yes!
Well done, mate, well done. That was a good one, Frank. Unfortunately, we've got somebody with a keen nose for Protestants in the hot seat tonight. Sorry, mate. Joe Paul, yes, he was. He was a Protestant, but he actually got kind of special dispensation for to be of his funeral service out at St Mary's. Sorry, mate. To get back to your topic, what was it? Sorry.
Yeah, aye, that was a good one for Frank. Aye, I like stuff like that. Aye, especially when I get them. Aye, so we'll been over the defensive aspect, and I guess up front we can be confident with Maida, Jota, and Giakoumakis. But Giakoumakis is great at scoring shite goals. That's what I love about him. And it's an opportunity. This game at Ibrox is an opportunity for people to become heroes. For Callum McGregor to make his own mark as Celtic captain. See if he put in a commanding performance and it leads us to wrap up a league title. Obviously, there's going to be 6 games after this, but if he puts in a commanding performance, he's going to be totally out from under the shadow of Scott Brown, if you get me. You know, he's going to be remembered in his own right. It'll be a trophy of his own. And he's going to be one of the main leaders of that. And people like Giakoumakis, Maida, Jota, this is an opportunity for them to go down in Celtic folklore, you know. So I'm excited. Who do you think might come to the fore?
I think Giakoumakis is going to be one to watch. I was reading a comment for Barry Ferguson of all people, right? And he was basically saying that Golson and Hollander or Balogun, whoever it is that plays, will love coming up against Giakoumakis because even though he's good in the box, he can score goals, he's clumsy outside of the box and he's not pleasing on the eye. But do you know what, Barry? Couldn't he give a flying fuck what he's like on the eye? Because you're not going to like him on the eye because he's going to score. right? And if he doesn't score, he's going to bully Goldson, Big Easter Island Heat, and whoever it is that plays beside him, because they're not used to playing up against a striker who's going to hassle them and harry them, a guy who's strong as an ox. They're used to being the bullies. Now we've got a guy that can bully back and Frank Brennan. I'm not reducing it to a base level, Gavin and Paddy, and the facts are only all of these truly great Celtics were non-Catholics, but none of us cared. Still don't care what God, if any, a Celtic player worships. Yes.
I love that. I love the quote for Jock Stein. If he saw two great players, one was a Catholic and one was a Protestant, he would always buy the Protestant first, because he knew they could go back in time, buy the Catholic, because Rangers would never ever touch him. I love that. I love the fact that's what makes us different to them. Yeah. Aye. So that was a nice wee personal retort to Barry Ferguson, mate. I like that.
Mate. Just a walking, talking ball bag. They're defenders, as I say, they're not used to getting hassled. They're not used to getting somebody in their face. And when you've got a guy like Maeda out wide, he's going to attack you, right? Now, there's been a few comments that I've seen, Gav, for the last few weeks, last couple of months, since Maeda signed. And believe it or not, right, it's people saying they're still waiting to see the speed of the guy. They're still waiting to see this lightning quick guy. Right? We all know that Maeda isn't a fast guy on the ball. His strength is when he's running off the ball, when he's not got the ball, running into spaces, running by people, getting into areas, and it's that would be absolutely perfect. See if your Tavernier is burst on forward a wee bit and we get a counter-attack, get the ball, send Maeda on every single time. And the good thing is he likes to come inside and he likes to try and get the ball in to Jackie Marcus or whoever it is that's playing. If it's an Abada does the same on the right-hand side. He likes to get down and he likes to cross it in. Jota is good at crossing as well, but he offers you something different rather than just driving at you. He's got that wee bit of trickery, that wee bit of skill, that wee bit of silkiness. And even if he's not getting the better of a midfielder, the fullback, he can at least hold up the play and let Juranovic bomb by him, put him in, Juranovic will put it across. So if we've got guys that are going to put the balls into the box, we need a guy to stay central as a striker. And that's got to be Jackie Marcus. But whoever is playing in midfield, be it O'Reilly or Hattati, whoever's at a focal point in midfield, the furthest forward, they really, really need to get up support Jackie Marcus. Because if there's a knockdown, then somebody needs to get to it. If Jackie Marcus needs a wee bit of support, get up there right away and help him out.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I'm getting very excited about the impact that Jackie Marcus can make in this game.
Well, listen, the guy's in a scoring spree, mate. The guy's confident. He's back in the fold for Greece. He had a goal, albeit it was disallowed, and he's scoring for Celtic. He's enjoying his football. He's telling you this is the player that you were due to see at the start of the season. Things held it back. Now you're seeing it. He's confident, and you need to be your number 7 or your number 9 or number 10. You need your forward to be confident. You can't have a forward, an unconfident forward, get into a massive game where you need to win and you need to score.
Aye. Well, he scored a hat-trick, and then he got 2 in the cup, and then prior to that, another hat-trick. So he's brimming with confidence. There was a previous comment there for Chilpel when he was saying that he wants experience and he would start maybe Rogic in the midfield. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paddy thinks that Rogic is injured and he's not going to make it this weekend. You guys have heard it different? Let us know. I'm
sure he's out, mate. I'm sure he's totally...
What was the next one for Frank Brennan?
Well remembered, Gavin, about Jockstead's quote, and I love a young man like yourself who knows and reads up on his beloved Celtic Football Club history. Well, he does. He's very, very, very educated as well, Gavin.
Not as much as you when it comes to Celtic, mate. Cheers, Frank.
No, not at all. Yes, Paul, mate. Rogic is injured.
I was actually looking at this, and you would. I think as a Celtic fan, you would feel entitled to see better numbers. And I'll tell you what I was looking at. It was the league top goal scorers. So I know that we've got 7 games remaining, but I historically, as a Celtic fan, I would always have expected, and I've always seen, regardless if we win the league or not, we would always be boasting some of the best goal scorers in the league. But you've got Charles Cook of Ross County with 13. Now, that's not an outstanding figure at all, but for a Ross County striker, that's quite respectable. But he's at the top. And then our top goal scorers in the league, you've got Abada at 9, Giakoumakis at 8, Kyogo at 8, and Jota at 7. Now, Abada and Jota, that is very, very good for them. Well, it's certainly Abada anyway, considering how young he is and he's been in and out of the team. But Giakoumakis and Kyogo with 8 apiece. Obviously, that's understandable because of the injuries. And in spite of that, where we are in the league, that's the reassuring part. That's what's important. It would have been nice, of course, if they had uninterrupted seasons where you could see them flourish from the start. Then, of course, you need to take into account that Kyogo had already been playing in Japan anyway. So, sorry, I can't talk right now.
I know what you're saying, but you need to take that into account as well. Obviously, what you've mentioned is the injuries. So Kyogo came in at the start of the season. He ended up as the main man up front, put in a shift every game, scored goals, scored really, really important goals, and then of course ended up with injury. Had to be out for a spell, then came back for injury, got us into the cup final, and then injured again long term. And then Giakoumakis came in the door. He had no pre-season. Then he had an injury, and then it took a long time to come back for that. And then I'm coughing. COVID. And then he started to get introduced again. So he's having to start from the start. When he's finally made his debut. But then as he's got more games, more confidence, more goals. So it's been stop-start for everybody. But the good thing is, Gav, that's never impacted us as a squad. Well, on the whole, because everybody has been scoring goals. McGregor, Rogic, Hatate, Maeda, when he stepped into the forward, plus obviously when he was out wide, Beaton, Abada, Forrest, Ralston, Juranovic. Everybody's chipped in. It's a team game with us. It's not just relying on this guy or that guy or that guy. It's a whole unit. You don't need to be scared of Giakoumakis or Jota. You need to be scared of Celtic, because this team is like one mate. Big Postecoglou has done, honestly, one of the best jobs in Celtic's history, I think. I know that might sound a bit kind of over-glorified, but for where we were, when he came in the door, and listen, I know we've all had kind of doubts about that, and we've all said negative things, which I think was fair at the moment. But as I say, when Postecoglou came in, the shitstorm that he had to deal with, off the back of one of the most horrendous fucking seasons in recent years, the squad that he was left with, fast forward to now, look at where we are. That's been moulded by one man, or two men, a couple of guys, but mostly Postecoglou. And the job that he's done for them now is nothing short of miraculous. And as I say, the whole squad is fighting for each other. They're playing for each other. They're like family, Gav. You've seen it. You've seen the comments. You see them. They're all laughing and joking. They're all smiling. Everything's great. It's just a tremendous, tremendous place to be. So you don't need to be scared of one guy or two guys. You need to be scared of the entire fucking first 11 when it comes to us.
Aye. I was thinking, whenever the summer comes around and we're looking at bringing in new recruits and letting people go, I would imagine, for Chilpil, let's face it, they need to win this more than us. They need to attack, and that will suit us. I do agree. At the same time, though, Postecoglou only plays one way, and that's attack, attack, attack. So, to an extent, by us playing our normal way, they can still counter-attack us. So it will be an interesting game from a neutral point of view. And for Frank Brennan, 50,000 screaming Rangers fans.
Huns, I'll say it. 50,000 screaming Huns.
We'll need all the Celts take the field on Sunday to show forbearance and fortitude. And what is pivotal to our success is that we don't concede an early goal and lose our shape. 100%.
Gav, I'm going to need to show my ignorance here. That's the first time I've ever seen that word, forbearance. It's a great word, by the way. It looks like a great word. Forbearance.
Wrong word.
It seems like a right fucking old word, that. No offence, Frank.
And don't give away cheap fouls.
And by the way, talking about cheap fouls, Gav, obviously today there was the announcement. The referee for Sunday is going to be Willie Collum.
Willie Collum.
I can't mind who the other two guys are in the background, the fucking sideline staff, but the fourth official is going to be none other than Nick Walsh, a rabid hun. But Willie Collum.
Willie Collum, the RE teacher, yes.
Yes, mate. Listen, I don't think Willie Collum is one of these guys that you need to worry about his bias, but what you do need to worry about is his complete and utter fucking qualities, lack of qualities as a referee, I should say. He's a terrible, terrible referee. Terrible. But, however, I suppose it really doesn't matter what referee we get, is it? They're either going to be shite or cheating, so we need to win the game as best as we can.
I would love to actually get an insight to find out. Like, I was pulling the stats earlier on for the top goal scorers in the league, but it'd be great to pull the stats on the referees to see who are trigger happy when it comes to penalties, who are card happy as well. I would like to compare and contrast Willie Collum this season to other people like Bobby Madden, for example. I think that we probably can't get any worse than Bobby Madden or Beaton.
I think
don't let mere Beaton. So there's no Bobby Madden, no Beaton. We've got Willie Collum. Is he the lesser of the evils out there?
I would say so, mate. I think the worst one that we could have got would have been Beaton, because we all know what he is. He doesn't even hide it. I just think the rest of them are absolutely terrible referees. But as I say, listen, Willie Collum has had some decent games for us, and he's had some absolute shockers. Most noticeably the game at Ibrox, where he gave a penalty against Daniel Majstorovic. When his back was turned to the action, he just assumed that Majstorovic had fouled him and gave a penalty, which is one of the worst decisions I'd ever seen until recently. But I don't like him as a referee. I think he's a wee turd. But
what was the recent one that appalled you so much?
What one was it? The one for the Rotten Mob against Dundee last week.
Oh, that was fucking awful, man.
Aye.
So Morelos in the box.
I can't even mind who the referee is. I'm going to check that when we come off. But Morelos basically comes into the back of the defender, grabs him with the waist. The defender has a wee tug back. In the next minute, penalty.
My jaw was on the floor when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. Believe it. Astounding. Right, well, in this game, let's just make sure that we don't give away any opportunities like that. But that Kent will be trying to buy those penalties. Just brushing up alongside defenders like that and going down before any contact is made.
And hopefully, if we triangle heat Morelos manages to play, then we're going to need to see a strong referee, Gav, because it's as clear as day and as obvious as night that wee guy, regardless of how shite he is, he's a fucking disgusting little scummy cheating bastard. He goes in and he fouls, he dives, he does everything that a fucking cheat does, and he still gets away with it. Every single referee buys everything off him. So whoever it is, we know it's Willie Collum. Willie Collum needs to keep an eye on that, and he needs to have a set of balls and actually call this wee bastard out if he plays for his cheating. I think if he doesn't play, then clearly that betters our chances. For that reason, is that they could possibly get a cheat foul or a cheat penalty because he has diving about and cheating. If he can't make it, you're talking about maybe, I think it's Kamal Roof, and he can't hold the line himself. So right away, it betters our chances. But the thing is, we've not got any injuries that we're really, really dependent on players. Obviously, Kyogo's kind of our best player that's injured now. We don't really depend on Kyogo because we're getting goals everywhere, you know?
Yeah. Right, predictions, mate. Predictions. I want to hear it.
Joe Paul says Morelos will play 100%. We'll need to see. Predictions.
And for the viewers.
Yes,
Get them in.
let's hear your predictions, guys, everybody. I said last night, Gav, that I think it would have been 1-1. I'm starting to change my mind now. I'm starting to get more confident. And I think 2-1 Celtic.
Yeah, a very, very confident Paddy edging a 2-1 win to Celtic.
Aye.
Okay.
I think regardless of who wins, and I'm sure it'll be Celtic, it'll be by the tightest of margins.
I think it'll be a tight game, yeah.
Aye. Somebody I heard on the radio, I think it was one of the fucking Rockets for the Super Scoreboard, were saying that if the Rotten Mob come out and play to their strengths and try and combat Celtic playing at their strength, then this could be a game for that's going to be spoken about for a long, long time. A really entertaining game for the neutrals.
Well,
couldn't care less about the neutrals as long as we win.
if it is that, it might be a case of us playing like we do, you know, where we just attack, and Rangers try to use their counter-attack to expose their kind of aggression in that way. So, could be 2-0 Jackie Markets. 2-0
Sean Ross, that's a big call, buddy. Stephen Coulthard, 3-1 Celtic. Chill Paul, 2-0 Celtic. Jamie Young sitting on the fence. Come on, you. He's a prediction.
I'm still struggling here. I'm going to go 3-1 Celtic.
2 Celtic. Good man.
Aye. You know, I probably shouldn't mention this, but see this afternoon, so I was working from home, I'm upstairs, and I heard this noise, and the noise could only be described as a sectarian march. And I'm like, it's 3 o'clock in the month of March. It can't be that. It doesn't happen that early. So I went down the stairs and looked out my window like a pure nosy neighbour. And all it was a car with the windows down and the flute tunes blaring. And it immediately jogged my mind to Gaza at the weekend. Celtic Rangers were playing a Legends match. And I use the term Legends very, very loosely, as if that's what you need to do to become a legend at their piggery place. Then it's very, very low standards. When Gaza mimicked the flute again, I wasn't angry. I was just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because the guy's not right in the heat, and he did that about 25 years ago at Parkhead, and I've not really seen much mention of it in the media. It's only been in Twitter, and I think that people should call him out for just being a sad old man. He's embarrassing himself, and whenever he's doing that, he's trying to get laughter for the Rangers fans. I'm sure some of them are evil enough to actually to enjoy that, and that's how you ingrate yourself.
Evil bastards.
Yeah, they are, man. If that's the sort of thing that they like, you know what I mean, then there's something wrong with them. So if that's what you need to do to ingratiate yourself with that ilk, then there's something wrong.
Right.
I just found it embarrassing, man. And I don't wish any ill will on people, but the guy should just be kept away from the public. You know what I mean? Stick him in a nursing home or something like that.
By the way, if Hockey looks as if he needs to be stuck in a nursing home. I seen a thing the other day, Gav, and it was after that game, right? And I'm going to ask you to double check that later on, right? But I think what I saw was that Johan Mjällby is only 3 years younger than Gaza.
Really?
Aye. Look at big Johan, big, handsome, sweet, and you look at Gaza, absolutely stinking of pish and full of weed. Aye, listen, they're just fucking reprobates, and I couldn't give a flying fuck about them in their Legends game and wheeling out fucking tramps and cunts that have pushed
Let's
around
move on.
fans.
Let's move on for that.
Aye.
I saw a wee interview with Joe Hart. I think it was today,
Yes, mate, I read it.
and he was talking about an incident whenever he was told that he had to leave, or he was surplus to requirements at Tottenham Hotspur, and this was whenever they had their new manager. He was new manager at one point, but you know that Tottenham go through manager nowadays. It was Nuno Espirito Santo.
That's the one, yeah.
Portuguese guy, a guy who used to be a goalkeeper as well. So he was telling Joe Hart that as long as he was a manager, Joe Hart was never going to play. And it's quite a thing whenever you've had like 70 odd caps for England. You've won Premier League titles with Man City. You've been the top dog for your country and for the dominant team in your domestic league. And it's quite a fall from grace whenever you go from that to being not even good enough to be a backup goalkeeper at Tottenham Hotspur. And some of the quotes that he said, that Nuno Espirito Santo said, that he said that you're not going to play because you're too old, you're too slow, you're too weak. And at one point, after hearing that, Joe Hart, like, he was obviously quite down, you know what I mean? And it must take a lot of character to kind of come back from that. But even at that point, he was doubting himself. He would say that he couldn't be arsed with football anymore. But I think he spoke to his friends and family, and he kind of regrouped himself. And it shows that even the strongest of characters, you know, at times they can be dented. Their confidence can be dented, which is exactly what happened to him. And obviously, he's found his way now to Celtic Park. Celtic contacted him, and then he had a chat with Postecoglou. I know that Hart, whenever he was getting wooed by Celtic, he did his own homework on Celtic in terms of the goalkeeping setup that we had with Woods. Stevie Woods is the goalkeeping coach, so he did his own homework, and then of course that's history, and he's joined Celtic and he's having quite a good season. But I found it quite insightful and quite sad as well. But I guess that's how brutal football is at times, mate.
Aye, mate. Obviously, we'd kind of heard that Joe Hart's name was mentioned to replace Fraser Forster. Never went through for whatever reason. But then when we got Joe Hart after a fucking horrendous season with Barkas and Bain goals, you know, I think we would have took fucking anybody coming into the place, any of the two dafties. Well, I said that, two dafties. Barkas, terrible keeper. Bain's been decent, and decent backup. But no, getting Joe Hart in has been a saving grace this season, mate, because number one, he's recaptured form. I wouldn't say he's top form, but he's recaptured form. Number two, he's bringing on the team. See, whenever Scott Brown left, a lot of people were saying, oh, Callum McGregor's no confident enough to kind of step up and take this team on his own. We don't need one guy to turn up, Gav, and take this team and lead this team. We need a team of leaders. And that's what we're getting at the back, mate. Callum McGregor stepping up, but as I say, candidate on his own. Joe Hart has been inspirational for the defence because you see him communicate to the defenders. You see him telling them where he wants to, where his guys placed, and obviously he's performing brilliant at the games. But the best part about the interview that we were talking about, Gav, was the part when he was actually going into detail about what Postecoglou says to him. I think he says he spent like half an hour on the phone, and Postecoglou's like that. He says, look, he says, I know we've spent X amount of time on the phone. He says, and I've not even discussed your kind of abilities as a goalkeeper. He says, I'm not interested. He says, I know what you're. He says, I know how good a goalkeeper you're. He says, I'm only interested about you. He says, you're a person. And he says, I want you to come and play under me. He says, we want to develop you still, even at what age you're. He says, because you're still a human being. He says, that's all I care about. I just care about you as a person. And it was lovely to hear. Lovely to hear that a keeper's not just after a commodity. Postecoglou wasn't just after a commodity. He's wanting this guy to come in and find a home. You know, he's been kicked about for here. He's been passed about like a used scud book since Guardiola decided that he fucking wanted rid of his old wank sock. You know what I mean? And he's went to fucking Italy, come back and been at West Ham, teams like that didn't want him. Spurs. Come here. You've still got a player in you. Come here, find a home. and go and enjoy yourself. And that's what's happening. You see Joe Hart plays with a smile on his face. I don't see one single player in that Celtic team, Gav, playing with not a smile on their face. They all are happy and loving their life. Juranovic came out and said it as well. He says, I absolutely love this place right now. He says, I'm buzzing. He says, coming to Celtic is the best thing that I've ever did in my life. He says, and I love it. I love being here. I love playing for the. I love being here. I love playing for the fans. He says it's just a great place with great harmony now.
Mate, I'm welling up right now with these stories about Postecoglou being like such a nice guy. I feel as if I want him to adopt me. You're talking about Joe Hart being kicked about like a stray dog, and Juranovic is saying that.
Gavin, I used Scudboot was the term I used.
Oh, aye. I'm happy days. And as you said, you get the camaraderie there, and even the Japanese guys that they've been learning the English language. I was reading Hitati was talking about having another conversation with Jimmy Forrest, and it's still a bit of a struggle, but it would be a struggle for most people to understand him. But Hitati's been learning the English language. He's been watching English programs and TV and stuff like that. And for Woodsy, we've got after Barkas and Main, I'd have taken the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. But Joe has been brilliant. Aye.
Jamie Young as well says, I can remember Joe Hart's first save. The fans celebrated it like a goal. That's how bad things were. It is, mate. But if you imagine like Joe Hart coming into Celtic, and he's researched Celtic and understood the history and read how passionate the fans are. But as soon as he's actually played in front of the fans, as I say, bear in mind he's beaten Italy, he's beaten Spurs, he's beaten West Ham, he's been chased for Man City, he's been around the merry-go-round of clubs that didn't want him and didn't care for him anymore and said that he's finished, he's shite, he's rubbish, you can't save it. He makes one save and the fans are going mental and they're all cheering his name. Just imagine like what that would be and how much confidence that would bring you. Do you know what I mean? As I say, the term I used earlier was that he's found a home. That, for me, should have a knock-on effect to Cameron Carter-Vickers, because Vickers has been the same. He's been out on loan for Tottenham. Tottenham don't want him. He's been out on several loans. He's never found a home. Come here. Come to Celtic full-time. The fans love you. You're adored. You're a number one pick. You're going to have a chance, potentially, at the Champions League next season. Come here full-time and do it. And then after that, what will be.
Do you expect both Cameron Carter-Vickers and Jota to sign for Celtic?
No, I don't. Me personally, mate, I don't think Jota will sign. I don't think Jota will. And do you know what? I wouldn't actually blame Jota because he is a Benfica supporter, as far as I'm led to believe. So if Benfica, who have got a new manager, kind of recently, if they turn around and say to him, listen, we'll give you an opportunity at your team. How could you have a go at him? You know what I mean? That would be like somebody saying, nah, I'm not going to play for my boyhood team Celtic. Why are you going to have an opportunity?
He is. He's already been on their books and he's no really...
That is what it is, mate. But out of the two of them, as good as Jota has been, Jota is the one that could be replaceable. We'll find another left winger, right winger, but we will really, really struggle to get a centre back like Cameron Carter-Vickers. And there's Chilpel asking me, do you think Vickers will stay? That's the only thing that I can kind of hang my hat on, is that Joe Hart will be saying to him, look at me. I've been playing in England. I've won so many caps. I was flung out like a fucking one of the Toy Story toys in the bin. You know what I mean? Come here. Play in front of 60,000 people every week. They adore you. Stay. Throw me the key. Don't go.
What the fuck are you talking about? A Toy Story toy, man?
Aye, mate. Like, wee Woody just gets flung out because Buzz Lightyear appeared. Big wank. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, man. Never a fan of Toy Story, man. In all honesty, I'm not too sure about either of them. You put a gun to my head, I would say that neither of them are going to sign permanent contracts, which is really, really sad to say. And another important thing to add on to that, before I read that comment for Frank, is In fact, I'm going to read that. Never mind you welling up, Gavin. When I saw our very own big Joe Hart wearing that black goalkeeper's jersey that had 90 and Thompson on the back of it, it made the memory of John Thompson live on forever. I think Johnny Thompson is like maybe one of the first images of our intro for the Jungle Gyms podcast, and a legend. What was it? The Prince of Goalkeepers. That's what they called him. Aye, a very, very touching moment whenever Joe Hart did that. Aye, and it's good. It's good that we modern day we still do these these gestures to kind of keep the legends going. Never forget, even though it was almost 100 years ago that Johnny Thompson passed away. What was I saying? Aye, so I think, if a gun to my head, I don't think that Cameron Carter-Vickers or Jota are going to re-sign. It's kind of went a wee bit quiet on that front. And one of the things that I fear is the momentum and the familiarity that we built up as a club with the playing style, where people intuitively know where they have to be on the park, when they need to switch to the side. And the responsibility that these two guys, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Jota, have taken on their shoulders in the team, because they've not been bit part players. These guys have been mainstays, fan favourites. So the absence, if we lose them in the summer, that's what scares me about the momentum that we're building with Ange. I feel it might be a step back. We're going to have to buy to replace them, and there's no guarantee. I do believe in Ange's transfer policy, and what you're talking about, Paddy, is buying human beings. It's not commodities. He likes to reach them, connect with them on a personal basis, to know that they're going to be committed. Now, Jota and Cameron Carter-Vickers have done a massive job for us this season, whether we win the league or not. But by taking them out the team, if they do leave in the summer, the rebuilding process is just going to be that wee bit more difficult.
But I suppose it's the same with every player, mate. Every player can move on and leave you in the lurch, to put it like that, right? Because you're obviously going to need to go and replace him. I think if we lose Jota, right, okay, thanks for the memories, pal. You've given us some great times. Hopefully, you've gave us a league to celebrate. If you leave, catch you later. It's been a good one. You're only on loan. Same and all with Vickers. Vickers would be the one that would be harder to replace, if you ask me, because it's harder to find a centre back who is so reliable as Carter-Vickers. But the good thing, Gav, is that the majority of this season, the centre back pairing has been Starfelt and Vickers. So if Vickers goes, then you have got Starfelt there, who will then become the experienced head. And I think Starfelt, as much as I've absolutely 100% admittedly slaughtered him at times this season, I think he's grown to be a brilliant player. Very, very important for us as well, mate. I seen Big Johan Mialby talking him up today as well, and I can't disagree with him. He's been a very, very important big player in the team for what he's brought. As I say, if Vickers moves on, then Starfelt becomes a more experienced head, unlike when the two of them came in at the start of the season. The two of them were coming in as new guys. So whoever comes in will have Starfelt there with that experience of playing in the Scottish League to help him in, to help, what's the word? Let him settle in.
Yeah.
But again, like, talk about players leaving. You've had Postecoglou on the, I think it was Optasport, something like that, some kind of sitting down chat he had with Mark Schwarzer, the Australian goalkeeper that used to play with Middlesbrough. Big Ange was sitting down and having a chat with him. Really, really good interview, by the way. But specifically, he was talking about, the kind of nations that we buy players for. And he said that he was wanting to tap into kind of the Middle Eastern. I think it was Middle East. If I'm wrong, I do apologise. But that kind of part of the world, just because nobody really does it. And he mentioned Iran specifically, which I thought was quite interesting, because we have been linked with a guy, Mehdi Gaidi, I believe is his name, who's an Iranian kind of winger, wide player. So, I mean, if Jota doesn't stay, then I think we Ange mentioning Iranian football specifically, which is pretty damn specific.
Quite out there.
I think it's pretty specific to have mentioned Iranian football, of all places, Iran. And then we us previously been linked with an Iranian football player. That could be somebody that Ange is actively fucking sounding out. As well, we've been linked with the young fella for Bayern Munich. What's his name? Christopher Scott, is it?
Yeah. He's out of contract at the end of the season. I think Bayern want to keep him on, but he's only been playing in the B team, and he's not getting any exposure in the first team. So he'll be looking for. And they only got him for Bayer Leverkusen about 2 seasons ago. So it sounds like it's a boy with pedigree. And I think it's one of the ones where he just wants to get game time a bit, not unlike O'Reilly, who we nabbed for MK Dons. So that this boy, whatever his name is for Bayern Munich, I think Brentford are also rumoured to be after him as well. So an interesting proposition.
Aye, but obviously, like the good thing is that even though it's kind of media rumours and whatnot, but you still get the odd kind of sniff of a bit of action. And I think Postecoglou, even previously the last few weeks, has been called that, right? This is the guys that I want to identify. This is the players and positions that we need to bring in for next season. And I think that there's been a perfect kind of equilibrium there between Michael Nicholson, the CEO. I was talking to a fellow on one of the Twitter spaces the other night who kind of informed us that Postecoglou's agent is one of the key figures in Celtic's transfer committee. Kind of Liverpool-esque setup that they've got them now, and everything is being done by Postecoglou's agent and Michael Nicholson, and maybe somebody else I know, but they're all in tandem, and they're all like saying, no, this needs to happen. This is the guys that you want a guy, we will go and we will try and secure him. We won't try and aim for number 8 on the list. We'll try and aim for number 1. Keeps coming. And as we all know, mate, Ange has got a big database on players that he likes and players that he wants. So look at the success for the men for Japan that we've had. You know, these players probably, when they've got a sniff at European football, I know obviously some of them have had European experience, but I don't think that they would have moved to a club as big as Celtic if it was the Ange.
I think it's a great example that you raised there. You've got gems in these countries that some people turn their nose up at for one reason or another, because they're not considered like footballing nations. But Ange is an open-minded guy, and he's wise enough to exploit the niche in the market, and he's brave enough to put his money where his mouth is and buy these players. And he knows that they're going to do a job in Scotland and show everybody that they're wrong and that he's right. And he's proved that everybody wrong this season, and more of the same. So if he pulls a rabbit out the hat in the summer, some guy for Timbuktu, then I'm going to have full confidence that he's going to do well because Ange's already proven it.
Well, I know some players are fucking exceptional circumstance, exceptional whatever I was going to say there, can't remember the word. But you look at Mohamed Salah, right? I know he's only one player, but he's Egyptian. You wouldn't exactly say that Egypt is the kind of bastion of football, quality of football players. And I know he's only one player, but look at him, Egypt. Who's to say that a guy for Iran couldn't be that kind of player one day, or even a very, very good player? You know, I think, mate, the more that this season's going on, and you look at how we started off at the start of the season, Ange Postecoglou, who's this guy? He's only a fucking guy for Australia. He's only managed in Japan. That's snobbery and that's ignorance on our part. I was one of the guys that kind of had that opinion at the start as well, admittedly. And my fucking egg is truly on my face in terms of that, mate. So the way that people see Celtic and the way that people have got this snobbery and ignorance against us, or they're only a pub team, they're shite, they're this or that. We constantly get players plucked for us and taken down south for talk's sake, and they always end up at a very, very good level most of the time. So what's this? We really need to kind of slope this snobbery as well. Or why would we want a player for Iran, or why would we want a player for Japan or something? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter where they come from. It's about who they are and how they can adapt and how they can play for Celtic. And I think Postecoglou is the perfect man to be in the driving seat for that, because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about you. Doesn't care where you come from. Doesn't care what level you're. He only cares about how he can bring you in, help you develop as a man, and then how he can develop you as a player to come into the team and help the team.
I agree that we have been guilty of football snobbery, and it comes with the territory. Certainly in the UK, we're quite guilty of it. But Postecoglou showed us that we are wrong, and that a lot of times he knows better. And Ange's knowledge of the Middle East is brilliant. Keep the players coming. Absolutely. Aye.
There's a couple of wee comments I'm going to bring up. Gav, 2 seconds, mate. Where are we? Joseph Agnew, always good to see you commenting, Joe. Hail, don't panic, nobody bigger than our great club. Just bring in better players. Hail, keep the faith. Well, I think that is Ange's plan B, if you want to call that, is to keep building up the squad. As you said, Gav, he's not going to deviate away from the 4-3-3, but what he's going to do is he's going to get players that are different types of players in this system. Like Jackie Marcus. Jackie Marcus is totally different from Kyogo and Maeda. You know, there's things that he's doing and putting into place that's really, really good, that is bringing in a good balance. Joe Curran, how you doing, buddy? Talking about Joe Hart earlier on. Joe Hart is a bomb scare the way he plays the ball across his own goal. I look away every time he does it. You hark back to Guardiola chasing Joe Hart out because he was poor with the ball at his feet. There is times, mate. There is times, Joe, that Joe Hart will leave you pissing your pants like Gaza. But for all intents and purposes, mate, he's been a great goalkeeper. Most of the time, he looks calm under pressure, and I'm happy with him. I love him. I love him. He's great.
Be prepared to see more incidents like that at Ibrox, because they're going to be pressing us more. So we will see a little bit more of that, of the kind of heart and mouth moments where they're passing it back, and you just want to see him hoof it down the pitch. But in terms of recruitment and things like that for the summer, I'll just give you a quick fire thought of what I want to see. I want to see someone challenging Hart, someone to be brought in. Although Hart's got a long contract, I don't think he'll be. I can see him obviously being our number one next season, but I think after that, the landscape might change. So I would like to see someone brought in to kind of challenge him, an upgrade on Bain. I would like to see a quality left back being brought in. If Cameron Carter-Vickers leaves, then we need to spend. I'm not going to say spend good money. I'm just saying spend wise money, recruit sensibly to replace Cameron Carter-Vickers, because I am not sold on Julian. I've never been sold on Julian, so I'm just going to be honest. I've always played that same tune with Julian. It's a strange phrase. I've never wavered with Julian, let's put it that way. But I would like to buy 2 centre-backs for next season.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that Starfelt, although Starfelt has been overall good enough this season, I think we can upgrade on him. And apart from that, a powerhouse in the midfield, I'd like to see that. And I'll leave it there because I'm going to start waffling now.
Well, I just while you were saying that, mate, I remember that we've got a few kind of big names that's out of contract next season. This one, I know McGinty's not here, but according to Transfer Market, which is usually pretty reliable, Karamoko Dembele is out of contract in the 31st of May this year. So,
but McGinty's doing in Glasgow to interfere with those talks, I believe. So,
thank God you said the talks.
His agent.
Thank God you said the talks. Next season, mate, you're talking guys. James Forrest is out of contract. Christopher Julian, who you mentioned, is out of contract. Near Beaton is out of contract, and I believe that's going to be his 10th season next season, so he'll be due a testimonial. And I think James Forrest is due a testimonial this season, I know.
And Tam Rogic, he's got one more year as well.
And Tam Rogic, so there's four big names out of contract. So you look at Beaton's a bit part player. As much as I think he's really come into his fold again this season, because he's been pushed into midfield and Stoke being that kind of emergency centre back, I think he's really stepped up to the plate again, Gav. I think he's been really, really good whenever he's come in the midfield. Tom Rogic has been a match winner his talent's undoubted. His qualities are incomparable. But he's another guy who is... There's always an injury coming. And then it takes him a wee bit longer to get back to fitness. When he's playing in Australia as well, he seems to come back rotten. He's not been doing it as much this season, but I don't know if Tom Rogic is a guy that will maybe kind of pump more money on with a new contract. If we're going to be bringing in a newer generation of guys, Julian, I think Julian's Celtic career will be finished next season. I can't see him coming back at the start of the season, Gav, and just kind of taking over the centre backs. You know, even if Vickers goes, I think we will obviously replace him with a new signing. But I think Julian's Celtic career was over when he got that injury, unfortunately. And James Forrest is probably maybe the right time for him to leave next season. If not this season, I think, because he's lost that yard of pace. He's not the same player, and he's no that good a player that he can adapt out with that pace. Unfortunately, he has been a good player for us. Won many titles, scored some great goals, some important goals, been part of some really, really important and great squads. But sometimes your players need to move on, mate. And as I say,
I can't disagree with what you said there. And what I think is quite telling about Postecoglou, I believe it's whenever he joined one of the Australian clubs. I know that he managed 2 Australian clubs, so it might have been Brisbane Roar or Melbourne Victory, but one of the two. Whenever he joined, he put a lot of noses out of joint with the older, the more senior players, because he had a clear out of the kind of the deadwood as such. And I think Postecoglou is cold enough to make those hard decisions that us sentimental fans would be a wee bit more reluctant to pull the trigger on. So people like your James Forrest, he's got one more year left, such as the other players that you mentioned. And I can see him making maybe a couple of unpopular decisions, but decisions that do need to be made for the better of the club, the better of the squad, and thinking pragmatically. So we need to be prepared for that. And he's doing it with the best intentions because he's a winner. And we want him to stay with us for as long as possible. So we need to back him with these decisions.
I don't want to kind of jump too forward, but as I said earlier on, you look at how it started after Postecoglou and you look at where it is now. I mean, even if we don't win this league, God forbid I'm wrong, the job that he's done has still been absolutely brilliant. You know, taking that team that was so threadbare, that was so low in morale after that fucking ridiculous season last season, transforming, putting performances onto the pitch, getting bums on the seats, getting fans excited again. Everything that you want for your football manager. It's not just on the park as well, mate. The way that the guy handles himself off the park is just second to none now. He's the way that he speaks, the way he holds himself, his manner, everything that he says, it's got meaning, it's got depth, it's smart, it's funny, it's to the point. He doesn't fuck about with these reporters. He doesn't kind of give them powder puff answers. He just sit back, nice, relaxed, chilled, and just says in that kind of Australian laid back way, like what you talking about, mate. Just basically tells him to fuck up without telling him to fuck up. You know what I mean? It's great. But what point was I talking about there? Sorry, I was rambling on.
Him making hard decisions and getting rid of Deadwood, perhaps.
Aye. He's bringing on players, mate, and I think that there's going to be a lot more emphasis put on the academy. So if you've got academy guys coming through, then it needs to be a natural kind of progression. Some older heads need to move on, and younger heads need to come in, and then the guys that are in the middle ground now then become the older heads. And it's just like the conveyor belt, mate, that just keeps moving. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot more activity in the youth league next season, because I think it's been confirmed now, mate, that the lowland league, try to spell that one out. The lowland league is back on for the reserves, the B team, and there's also going to be an Adidas competition. I think it's next month. That was just announced today. Celtic's going to be playing teams like Man United and Roma and somebody else, another few teams, and it's an Adidas competition. it's going to be in Texas. You know, so we've got a decent kind of nucleus of young guys at the club now. And I know the last few years have been really, really bad in terms of that gap for the academy players. No having any faith moving into the first team unless like there's been a massive injury gap and they've had to be brought in like Stephen Welsh or somebody like that. But I think these guys realise now that they've got a manager who, if you're good, you will play at some point. And I think he's probably spoke to the B team, probably came in and had a wee kind of interview. I kind of sit down, talk with the guys, and just said, "Listen, keep doing your thing, keep chatting at the door, learn, show me that you want to play for the first team, and you will get your chances at some point." And I think we're going to see a lot of that, like say young Toby Ayalawunye, Rocco Vata, Bosun Lawal, hopefully, who could be possibly one of the ones that comes in and replaces somebody in the squad. So Vickers leaves, then it becomes Starfield, a new signing, Lawal and Julian and Welsh. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. I think everything's good, mate. As long as we go all out and we try and get ourselves a quality left back, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think that's our weakest position. We definitely need to strengthen at left back, and hopefully Postecoglou gets proper quality in that position. Right, okay, Paddy. Any further comments for the viewers before we wrap up for tonight?
Give me a wee second. I'll just jump back a wee bit.
By the way, I've got to say, it's been like a week of brilliant weather, but today was a wee bit pish.
Aye, terrible, mate. There's Chilpal when we're talking about kind of players going in for next season. You're talking about backup goalkeepers. So there's a name that's been mentioned previously. Benji Siegrist of the United, who I think's a very, very capable goalkeeper. Kenny commented back on that one and says, "Chill, my son-in-law is an Arab Dundee United season ticket holder. He says Siegrist wouldn't be happy being second choice." I think I've heard that before, mate. Somebody quoted that when he was possibly rumoured to be going to the other side of Glasgow, not Partick Thistle, is that he would need to be number one, or else he wouldn't be happy. Chilpa also says that Julian will never be the same again. That injury has screwed him. Aye, I think that's unfortunately possibly the case. We were talking about the guys that was out of contract. Back to Chilpa again. Good comment, Lonzonite, mate. Well done. Thank you as well. That's not too bad for us talking about guys that's out of contract. That's not too bad for us. Sefco have Hunters out of contract soon, and they have no money to replace them. Billy Subs Grant. Sorry. I think you might be a new poster, mate. By the way, anybody's watching, you haven't done it, please if you like, subscribe, and listen to us talk push every week. That'd be great. Billy Subs Grant, we need to find a couple of John Stones to sign if Cameron Carter Vickers goes. John Stones, Gav, for your fun.
Yeah, but he's in a different market to the market that we shop in.
Aye, and somebody, I'll try and find it, but somebody said that Jack Henry has just scored.
Pardon me, I think what he means is that John Stones, he was like a kind of like a diamond in the rough. You know, was it Everton who bought him from a young age, and then eventually
Everton signed him for Barnsley, I think it was, Gav.
Yeah, maybe that's the example that he's making. You know, just good, astute. You know, like scouting. I think that's what he means. Yeah.
I just found that funny that he mentioned John Stones, and then somebody later on mentioned that Jack Henry scored for Scotland in the game tonight. Jack Henry, if you can remember, Brendan Rodgers says that he was the Scottish version of John Stones.
Did he say that?
He said that, mate. Aye.
Yeah, by the way, to the viewers, if you've never done it, do a Google search on Brendan Rodgers' funniest quotes. One of my particular favourites of Brendan Rodgers, he was asked who his role model was in football, and he says, "Well, I'm actually quite a self-taught man. I had to read up on a lot of things, so I would say that my role model would be myself." It's one of my particular favourites, Brendan Rodgers. That's
class, isn't it? I'll just tell you mine then while I'm here, because I absolutely love this one. So there's a hotel at the top of Glasgow City Centre's called it used to be called the Thistle Hotel. I can't remember what it's called now. But apparently the first team players used to leave for that hotel, Gav. They would meet up there, leave for the hotel and go to the Celtic games. So apparently outside there used to be a guy and an older woman would be there every week. And the guy would be like, oh, so cheering the players coming out and all that. And there'd be a wee old woman with a Brendan Rodgers scarf, fucking waving it. And he said he noticed them. He says then one particular game, the players were leaving. The guy approached Rodgers and says, Mr. Rodgers, can I have a word with you? He says, aye, what is it, son? Well, obviously in his accent, says, aye, what is it? He says, this is my mother, wee Betty. I just want to let you know that if it wasn't for you, Mr. Rodgers, my mother would have nothing to live for.
And he actually told people that story.
Aye.
He's like David Brent, man. That's what people say. He's a David Brent.
And then one that I heard from my father-in-law. We've all heard the story about when Rodgers came in as Celtic manager, and it was kind of the first day at Lennoxtown, I think it was. He says he was on the pitch or whatever it might have been, and doing his thing and watching guys, and he says this kind of wee old man came up to him, and it was Danny McGrain. And Danny McGrain says, excuse me, Mr. Rodgers, have I still got a job here? This kind of thing. And he says, you'll always have a job here as long as I'm the manager. And that was rumoured to have been a lot of shite. And then there was the gig at Hydro, Gav, and I think it might have been the one that Alex Ferguson was doing the compare. And Brendan Rodgers was there too. And I think he told this story at the Hydro. And my father-in-law says to me that he was a couple of seats away from Danny McGrain. And Danny McGrain turned around and went, I never fucking said that.
The guys get like no self-awareness.
Aye, so he's just a fucking tube. Some great memories under him, but just an absolute tadger.
Right.
Stephen Coulthard, great show, guys. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Frank Brennan. Settle down, boys. Oh, Brendan won 7 out of 7 trophies for us. He did, Frank. He did. Absolutely. But he was still a funny.
Still a funny guy.
What's this? Brendan Rodgers said he's good. Jamie Young. Brendan Rodgers said he's given up trying to sign Callum McGregor as he's a one-team man. No joke.
Good for us.
Joe Paul Rodgers is delusional. Brilliant. So how? I meant to ask Gav, how was your nerves for Sunday? How are you feeling, mate? Are you keep yourself active, keep yourself busy, or are you like me, fucking waking up during the night going, oh?
Look, on the day is a totally different thing, like now just thinking about it, it weighs heavily on your mind. The one thing I'm conscious of is how big it would be, those 3 points for Celtic, how massive that would be, how deflating that would be to Rangers. As you said to Kevin Keegan's, I think you said that a couple of weeks ago. I would love it. I would love it if we beat them. It'd be fucking brilliant. Yeah, you said that a couple of weeks ago. Mate, if we beat Rangers at Ibrox, it's massive. It's beyond massive. But if we don't, if it goes the other way, then yeah, it's a totally different scenario. But Rangers need to win it more than us, but that doesn't give us the right to play for a draw. And we won't play for a draw because Ange doesn't know how to do that. So on the day, yeah, I'll be nervous. And just as Kenny said earlier on, as long as we don't give away an early goal and we don't be fanning about at the back or giving away silly free kicks in our own half, and I'll be calmer. So, yeah.
There's Frank. Clearly took umbrage to he's having a go at Rodgers. He gave us the Invincibles and you're taking the piss for fuck's sake. Frank, listen, us, mate.
I'm just laughing at his quotes. His quote.
You know us, Frank. You've been watching us for long enough now. You know that we don't always agree with yourself and vice versa with us. But the good thing is about me and Gavin, we're quite similar, mate. We take a push at anybody, including ourselves. So everybody's fair game. So if you want to have yourself a Will Smith moment and come and give a online slap. I'm only joking, mate. Aye, I know. Listen, nobody's decrying what Rodgers done for us. Some of my best memories has been under Rodgers. I think the football in the first season was the best. Absolutely incredible. But aye. Anyway. Joe Agnew, hail. Great show, full of info, good stuff. Thanks, Joe, mate. One of the guys, yourself and Kenny, being the guys that's been here for the start, always comment. So appreciate he's coming on still and joining in. Thanks very much. Frankie boy again, as I've always said, to emerge for Ibrox unscathed on Sunday will be a magnificent achievement. Aye, well, absolutely. And I was talking to a couple of Rangers-minded boys today, Frank. I know there's still a hardcore element that are saying, you know, they've got total confidence they're going to win. But there's a few guys that are shouting themselves because they told me they were saying we obviously they cannot afford to lose the game. They need to win. It's a must win for them because any more drop points just puts us more into the driving seat. So even a draw for us, Frank, is a win. Basically, it's as good as a win, you know, because we are taking the point. It's going to be 4 points, and it's less points for them, obviously. But it's a psychological blow as well. If they can't beat us at their stadium in front of fucking 50,000 mongrels, you know, 7 games left, Gav, 6, whatever, after this game. Celtic's in the driving seat. As it stands now, the league is ours to lose, regardless. Even if we get beat Sunday, the league's still ours to lose. They don't win it, it's less of a chance that they can win it. So, aye, must win for them.
Right, okay, well, the prediction was Paddy said a 2-1 Celtic victory, and I'm going for a 3-1 Celtic victory. So, Paddy, on Sunday, will both of us be sober enough? Actually,
That's I don't know, mate. I tell you what, even if I'm available, I promise, regardless of the outcome of the game, I will not be sober, but I'll still be good enough to slap a push.
Cool. Aye. Right, okay, you've heard it here for Paddy. We'll be doing a post-match on the Sunday. And guys, I hope you get through the game without having a wee heart attack a couple of times, because there might be moments like that in the game. But let's hope that we get the early goal and that kind of calms the nerves. That'd be brilliant. How good would that be to go 1-0 up within the first 5 minutes? Oh, now you're talking.
By the way, how good would it be to win? Just think, Gav, how good is it going to be if on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, you and I are sitting on here, the two of us are slabbing push because we're absolutely fucking steaming and we're celebrating a victory at Ibrox. Oh man, it's good enough to give you a big stoner on
it. You've got one already, mate.
Oh, aye, listen, but I don't know, mate. I'm still at that nervous stage. I'm still like a wee Wayne now, you know. We kind of spoke about that earlier on, that as soon as the international games out the way the night, the whole focus, because obviously Scotland is played, so the whole focus in this country is going to be now moving all the attention to Sunday. So every day it's just going to be fucking, the papers will be giving it, fucking Rangers fucking won this game that year and this how good they are and blah blah blah. It's just going to be nerve-wracking, mate. Nerve-wracking.
It will be. Well, we've done it before.
Yeah. Jamie Young. Cheers, Gavin. Paddy. Hope I see you after the game steaming drunk. Well, I can categorically promise you, Jamie, that I will be fucking mortal. I might actually need to fucking tight my answers back.
Yeah. I might have a wee red wine or two, you never know. I'm only joking. If we win, then I may have to take Monday off work and just fucking go for it.
Gav, I'm fucking joining you up on Monday.
Nice.
Fuck yourself.
The Monday Club, aye.
That might be a wee first, mate. A wee Jungle Jim's Monday Club.
Aye. We all call us sick.
Just the two of us sitting there like, oh my god.
Like Jamesy.
Jamesy Forrest flashing your wee bobby.
Oh, Jamesy, fair absolutely, pal.
Oh, right, Jamesy Cotter.
Aye.
Brilliant.
Right, wrap this up, and to the troops, thank you for watching, and let's just say a wee prayer for this Sunday.
I might just have a wee boat of bucky. That'll do me. Aye, listen, Gav says earlier on, if you've not done it, please hit the wee like button, wee subscribe, listen to us every week, join in, because obviously it's not just about me and Gav sitting here talking. We don't know everything, we don't know anything. Let's keep the interaction coming. Guys like yourself, Frank, hitting out with brilliant knowledge of the past. Joe, Kenny, all the guys, Alan Woods, Red Scotland, everybody else. Too many bloody names to mention. These are all legends, and hopefully we see you on Sunday celebrating a victory. So from me and Gav, that way. From me and Gav and me, it's a good night.
Catchies.
Catchy for Sanchez.